Jonah,
everybody,
go ahead, Lap.
uh, everybody talks about Crosby. Obviously, he's extremely talented, Pro Bowl selection. Tell us about Ngakoue.
I mean, he's a great player too, and that's one of the strengths of their defense and probably their team as a whole, is their edge guys. Between those two, a lot of talent, a lot of ability, play with high motors, and it's going to be a challenge for us tackles to contain them and make sure their offense runs smoothly.
Last game, Jonah, in week 11 against them, they both had a sack. They both had a quarterback hit. But for the most part, were you pretty happy, in part because of the run game, with the way you guys were able to, I don't know, neutralize them is the right word, but handle them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can be a lot better, and that's our goal going into this week is just, they are great players, and it's our job to make sure they make as few plays as possible. But I do think that, I was proud of our offense as a whole and our O-line for the way that, we finished the game running the ball and, kind of setting the tone physically. So that's the challenge for us as we can practice is to continue to be that physical and limit their playmakers even more.
Between Ngakoue and Crosby, is there a method to who lines up on which side? Because it seems like they've done both.
Yeah, they do both. And I think, depending on the scheme of their defense, they'll switch from side to side. So there's, I think that for both me and the right tackle, we have to be prepared to play both.
Crosby leads the NFL in pressures by a wide margin, but only has 8 sacks. I say only. That's still a good total, obviously. But does that say anything? Does that suggest it's a disciplined rush? Or I guess it speaks to his relentlessness.
Yeah, I think it does. That's probably the main thing it speaks to is just the motor and finishing plays. Not just being ran around the arc and, making sure they hits the quarterback every time. And so as an O-lineman, you never want your quarterback to get hit. You never want to let him do that. So we have to exceed his motor and his intensity and, make sure that we are the ones who are finishing every play in control.
Hey, John, early on inside the locker room, we can't be inside the locker room. Can you kind of take us through and what it feels like in there? Does the vibe feel any different this week now that the playoff week has started for the Bengals?
I can feel a little bit of a heightened sense of intensity. I think that, obviously we take every week seriously, but it feels different now. Most of the NFL is already packing up and going home, and we have the opportunity to be here and continue working together as a team and, hopefully, be here as long as we possibly can, and that starts playing well this weekend against the Raiders. And, we saw the game that they just won, and we know it's going to be a battle, and we need to be prepared. And to do that, we have to be focused in practice and in meetings. But I think that the focus, at least that I've experienced so far today, has been really high.
And to follow up, I'm sorry, Bushy.
That's okay. Sorry.
There's just been this thought in Cincinnati for the longest time about, man, just win a playoff game. It's been so long, just win a playoff game. I'm curious if that's the thought of this team is just going out there and trying to get that monkey off the back, or if there's a thought that this team can make a run here and do something even bigger than just winning one playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, our sights are set for the end of the season, for the Super Bowl. I think that's where all of our mindsets are. And to do that, we're going to have to win a handful of playoff games. So, in pursuit of the greatest goal, I think that if we can start knocking down other goals along the way, that's great. But, our focus is going all the way through February. We're not stopping right now.
Hey, Joe, sorry about that. Just, Jonah, I got 2 things, and then I'll get out of here. It looked like they had a sack strip early on out there in Vegas. I'm wondering if you guys made any kind of an adjustment. And the second thing is, you've got a lot of guys who have been to the playoffs from other teams, and wondering if they've, if they've asserted themselves at all, or if they've helped you guys with the week.
Yeah, any sacks, any pressures, we have to adjust for them, and we have to fix it. So, I think that for the most part, plays like that end up happening due to lapses in technique. I don't think there's anything schematically on that play that we were unprepared for. Just technique across the board wasn't good enough. So that's what we have to improve there. And I think that some of the vets who either have been here for a while or have come in from other teams who have had the opportunity to play in the playoffs. They've stressed, the importance of this and the level of focus we need to have. But I think, we've got a locker room in there of guys who this isn't coming as a surprise to us. This is what we've worked for since fall camp. So now that we're here, it's just it just feels like it's go time. It doesn't feel like some novel thing. This is what we prepared for. We're here, and now we have to just execute.
You guys also have a core of young players who have national championship rings, have played in the big games before. How's that benefit you guys?
I think it benefits us a lot. I was just thinking about that, between Joe and Jamar and I, like our last couple first round picks, all having national championship rings. I think that, a bunch of other guys on the team too who have been there. I just think that feeling of, being a big game, I don't think that that's as daunting as it might be for people who haven't experienced that. But I think just as a whole, our focus and how seriously we're taking this game, that's something that stood out to me in preparation so far this week.
That being said, how you holding up after last night?
I'm good, man. I'm disappointed. I want us to win, but Georgia hasn't won in 42 years or something. So I think that they can go celebrate that.
Hey Jonah, how does an offensive lineman define ideal football weather?
Ideal football weather for an O-lineman is definitely colder than probably for any other position group. So honestly, this December, January weather has been great. It's a little bit less tiring than than when it's really hot and humid outside. And so this is exciting for us, just being able to assert our will and make people uncomfortable outside of just the conditions, but also just to keep on pounding on them. And this is definitely prime O-line weather.
And you guys also, you gave up a franchise record number of sacks this year. I'm not going to ask you how that makes you feel because I probably have a good idea, but do you see the playoffs as a chance at redemption, so to speak, or just kind of a clean slate? I mean, to go out and prove that maybe the numbers can be better than they were in the regular season?
I just see it as a clean slate. My biggest focus is winning this game and then going on and winning the next one. And to do that, we're going to need to score a lot of points on offense. To do that, we're going to have to protect our quarterback. And to do that, we have to be able to execute and do our protection. So, when I break it down into things like that, I'm not thinking about numbers or stats so much as I'm thinking about my job. And our job is in the line to protect our quarterback and win some football games.
In December, Isaiah Prince had to step in at right tackle. What's the most impressive part to you about how he's stepped up into that role?
Yeah, he's been doing a great job, and we all like Isaiah. We all know what type of player he is, so it's not surprising to us. He's such a athletic and long guy, and I think that I guess the moment isn't too big for him either. He's had to play some really elite pass rushers, as we all have this whole season, and he's stepped up and done a good job, and we know he's going to keep doing that in the playoffs.
2 minutes. Jonah, out there in Las Vegas with 11 minutes and 30 seconds to play, it's 16-13, and you guys just start putting them in the meat grinder. Joe has a 20-yard touchdown run. You continue to run the football. How much confidence do you take from the finish of that football game as you go into this playoff game?
We take a lot of confidence from that. I think that we know that we're playing a great team, and we know they're not going to fall over easy. We know that it's going to take everything from us, to get them to that point. But I think that we know we're capable of doing that. We've shown that we can do it. And so this week we need to go out and do that and play even better and, hopefully not keep it so tight until the end. We want to be explosive on offense, and we want to assert our will on the O-line. So that's our goal this week. We got to do that again, even better.
We know that you guys probably don't typically feel great at the end of the season physically. Was it a big deal for you and the other starters to kind of get a bonus day off on the final game of the regular season?
Yeah, I think that's been really helpful for all of our bodies. I know I feel great. I think, everyone else who had the opportunity to rest feels great. And now we got to do something with it. It's all for naught if we don't go out and play like we know we should and know we can this Saturday. So that's where we're at. We all feel good. We're ready to go. And, I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Anytime you game plan for a team, I guess there's always a question in the back of your mind about what kind of wrinkles, what they're going to throw at you. But with the Raiders blitzing fewer than or less times than anybody in the league, do you have a pretty good idea? You think of you're going to get what they do, and they're not going to throw anything new at you. And in that regard, in terms of number of blitzes.
Yeah, I mean, we're always anticipating the worst case scenario and whatever can happen. But, I think that when you have a defense as talented as they are, I don't think they need to do a whole lot, and that's why they haven't. They trust their D-line to get pressure without having to bring blitzes, and, they trust the structure of their defense to be solid and, not give up explosives. So for us, it's our job to take advantage of that, make sure that we do a good job neutralizing their D-line, and then, I know our skill guys and quarterback can make explosive plays if we give them the opportunity. So, it's kind of the two sides of the sword that, they don't do a whole lot in terms of blitzes, but they're good enough not to have to. So that's just, how we have to go into this game planning for it.
Last question.
Why do you think
Zach talked a lot about the confidence of this team starting playoff week and how he thinks that's a difference maker for this team. How important do you think is a young group being confident in itself, and how much do you think that comes from Joe Burrow and him setting that confident tone in that locker room?
Yeah, well, Joe's one of the biggest leaders of the locker room, especially on offense. And so his confidence is contagious for sure. I think that, all of us feel really good about this team, and it goes back to just knowing how hard we've worked starting from all the way back in the summer until now. I think we look around at each other and we know everyone's going to do their job and they're going to do it well. And that gives us confidence. It's not false confidence. It's not based on anything outside. It's just we look around the locker room, we know what we have. And that's what we are going to carry on in the playoffs.
Jonah,
I'm
Jonah,
sure you thought. Oh, sorry.
We got to get Logan Wilson in. He's waiting in the room. So Jonah, we'll let you go. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sean.
Logan, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. We're ready to go. So go ahead with your questions, everyone.
Logan, what's the air of anticipation for you, and what do you feel in the locker room of your teammates for this Saturday?
I think the mindset's still the same as it's been all season. Just try to go 1-0 each week. Obviously, this is a very big game, but we're not going to change who we are, what we've done to get to this point. We're going to stay the same as what we've done, and we just got to go out there on Saturday and execute it.
Logan, what do the Raiders do best? What do you have to take away first and foremost to be successful against them?
I think it always starts up front. Obviously, defending the run. If the team gets a run game going, then they can open up the pass game, and so it starts there. And I think that Jacobs is running the ball really well right now. And so he's always tough. And then they obviously got Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow on the outside as receivers, and those are big weapons. So it starts up front. We just got to be able to defend the run game and then force them into passing situations.
Logan, I saw your post on social media. It seemed like Josh Bynes, Keandre Jones, a few people were surprised that you cursed, even though you didn't really. But
right.
Do you not curse often? And were you
No, I do.
that
It's
they
just
were?
no, I do. They just wanted to make a joke out of it.
Gotcha. I take it that you're pretty excited for Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of what that post was about. It's just not taking any of this stuff for granted, especially when I was out 3 weeks. It makes you cherish the times that you get to play with in a game like this, especially because you never know if you're going to get another opportunity.
You guys added veterans with a lot of Trey, Vaughn, guys like that. Can you think of an example of a time where maybe – can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just echoing. Sorry.
Sorry, can you think of an example when a guy like Vaughn or Trey or someone who's played in the playoffs before came up and said something to you where that, leadership and that experience really paid off?
I can't think of a specific incidents. I think at the end of the day, you just got to do what you did to get to this point. You can't just change everything you've done. You got to be the same team each and every week. And obviously it's a big game, so we just got to go out there and execute our game plan as best we can.
Have they talked to you about how the speed of the game even increases more?
No one's mentioned that.
You've gone up against a bunch of good tight ends the last, kind of started with Waller, this run of tight ends. And, you guys did a hell of a job on Kelsey. How did you do it? And it seems like, you've beaten these teams. I think you've lost to one team. I think it was that killed you with the tight end, which was Kittle. Do you let him kill you and then take away the outside, or what's kind of the mindset there trying to shut these guys down?
I think it just depends on each individual game plan, based on who we're playing and what they like to do schematically, and then what we're trying to prevent schematically. So it just depends on the game plan. Obviously, you never want to allow people to dominate you at one position, but this is the NFL, and those guys on the opposite side of the ball are very good at what they do as well.
What makes Wally unique?
I think he's for how big he is, he moves freakishly well, I think. And the way he runs routes and creates separation, he can create separation on anyone.
Jonah was talking, Logan, that the cold weather right now is the best weather for offensive linemen. I'm wondering, from your perspective in tackling in cold weather, if you like to deliver punishment and kind of lay a lick, and this might be a great weather for you guys, for you to play linebacker. Yeah,
I think cold weather obviously makes everything hurt a little bit more. It's just the nature of it. But I also grew up in Wyoming, where it's gotten a lot colder. I think my senior year, my state championship was below 0 at kickoff. So I'm not worried about the weather on Saturday.
Logan, Joe described his cadre of receivers as athletic freak shows. Does it sometimes feel that way when you're watching them in practice? And did it kind of feel that way at the beginning of the season before y'all got rolling?
Yeah, I refer to them as the three-headed monster. I just think that you try to take one of them away, then we still got two others that he's going to go to, and that's not to mention obviously CJ at tight end and Joe at running back. So I think that we've got a plethora of weapons on offense.
What's the biggest headache that those receivers have caused y'all at practice, and just kind of chaos that maybe we haven't been able to see throughout the season?
Oh, we don't really practice a whole lot against them during the season. Obviously, it's more so during training camp. It's more so they practice against the scout D and whatever team we're playing is running that team's defense. So, they're just very good at what they do, and we're really blessed to have all three of them.
I know he's not. Did you win the Sub-Zero state championship game? And do you remember, did you feel especially cold, or did it go away pretty quickly?
Adrenaline definitely helps, but I think at that game, we did win, and I wanted to wear no sleeves, but our coach said that we didn't have a choice. We had to wear sleeves because we were threatened. You basically get hypothermia if you didn't wear it. So, but I remember after the game, the whole inside of my face mask was completely frosted. It's crazy.
I know Derek Carr is not Lamar Jackson, but a big part of his game is extending and creating plays as well, scrambling. Yeah. How big of a deal is that?
It's huge. Whenever a quarterback can scramble and buy his guys time to get open, it's tough when you have to cover for 5 seconds versus 2 seconds if if your D-line gets home. But I think our D-line is going to do a good job of caging them, with our pass rush plan.
How were you able to see if your face mask was frosted over? Like the
what? You cut out.
Was the shield frosted over on the inside? Is that what you're saying?
No. Like the interior of my face mask, the inside of it was completely white with just frost from breathing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Logan, it seems like in recent weeks the Raiders have increased their use of Mariota, short yardage situations. I think he had like 7 snaps at quarterback in their game last week. Is it more challenging when it's not that guy from the beginning of the game and you prepare for that style, but he comes in here and there to run those type of plays?
Yeah, I think that's kind of why they do it, to try to keep you off balance. I think we have a good plan in play to go against that, but that's obviously why they use him.
Logan, what percentage was your shoulder at for Kansas City, and what's it at now?
Percentage? Shoot, I don't even. It was pretty. I would say it's probably 90%, and it's probably closer to 100% now. Just taking it one day at a time, though.
Do you feel like the week off was a big deal for you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped. Got some soft tissue stuff worked on to try to keep loosening it up. But some of the stuff that I'm dealing with now isn't going to really go away until season's done.
2 minutes. Any more?
I believe you caught I just curiosity now. So I checked the box score. Did you catch a touchdown in that state championship game? Is that correct?
Yeah. How was the receiver?
Yeah. So walk us through that play. What happened there? Just out of curiosity.
In my senior year of high school, you're muted.
There we go. Sorry, I can't work tech today. No, in the state title game, do you remember the play call and kind of just it looks like a 56-yard touchdown pass or something like that?
I just think it was like a post route or something, if I remember off the top of my head. I was like a slot receiver back in my day.
Think you could give Hunter a run for his money?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm as shifty as he is. There's a reason why he's doing it at this level and I'm not.
Was it the game winner, or were you just tacking on at that point?
I don't even remember the exact score, to be honest.
Yeah.
All I know is the game was freezing, and as soon as the game was over, your sweat immediately turned cold, and then you were freezing, and it was fun, though. It was fun winning, for sure.
What do you like the most, Logan, about the way you guys defensively were playing at the end of the year?
I think it's just the belief that everyone, believes in each other and believes that one another is going to do their job to the best of their ability. We trust each other. And, I think when you got all 11 guys like that, you can usually, it usually fares well with how we play on defense. And I think that's, we're playing at a high level, in my opinion, because of that. And we're believing in the scheme that the coaches are giving us.
One last question. Anyone? All right, Logan, we'll let you go. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.